Welcome to Containerized Conversations, where we try to containerize our conversation. I'm Jesse Caffarelli.
And I'm Josh Warhurst. Thanks for tuning in as we dive into some of our favorite topics, one containerized thought at a time.
All right, welcome back, listeners. Josh and I are in a heated conversation, and I was just like, we need to just record this because for posterity, it's a good conversation, even though we keep talking about AI. It's all on the tip of our minds. We don't want to be an AI shop, just an AI slop podcast. But here we are.
When every day you deal with AI at work, you deal with AI in the news, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're dealing with tech world, right?
Yeah.
It's AI everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we are training on the same AI slop that everybody else is trained on, right?
Yeah. So let's summarize really quick what we were just talking about, and then you can dive back into it, because we've been talking about, the essential idea is, can you create original content using AI to generate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I brought up do androids dream of electric sheep, right? It seems unrelated, but it's essentially what we're arguing is, can you be innovative and imaginative while using generated code and it's like original? Can you do that or not? Right. And so that's where you were just talking about that.
Yeah. Like I think that I have not yet seen, and maybe it's my incompetence as somebody using AI, right, while I work, right, and as I develop, but I have not seen AI produce like totally new ways of thinking about code, right? Totally new frameworks. What I've seen is, if I give it these kind of ideas, it's going to go through the list of all the frameworks and it's going to say, well, this one meets your needs. This one meets your needs. Based on what people are talking about on Reddit, this one works, right?
And so that was the thing you were just saying. It takes a really good job of taking topic A that's maybe somewhat related, and then the topic C, which is also somewhat related, puts them two together to create B, right? You were just saying that, and like, that's not really original. But I argue, and here's another philosophical question: do humans actually come up with original ideas? Or do our ideas only get fabricated based off of what has happened before, with just a minimal improvement on top of it?
No, and I used to argue sort of as a somewhere between a joke argument and a real argument that all learning is just plagiarism, right? Human learning, this is something that, I mean, I've been discussing for at least 10 years at this point, right? Before AI became part of the conversation, but that like learning was basically, when done right, is you take the stuff that other people know and try to commit it to memory so that you can kind of, take some summarized version of that later and apply it, right? So when you're writing, you're taking concepts from all your English teachers and all this stuff you're reading, and you're like, oh, I like how that sounds. Let me use that, right? And take all this and kind of, plagiarize it. Without actually lifting it word for word, right?
You rewrite it for your own, but
But at the end of the day, like, what you've done is just learning from everything around you, right? And real like innovation happens when you do connect dots in a way that other people haven't, right? You find people, especially when they like move from one field to another field, sometimes they take something from that original field and bring it. So like a computer scientist that becomes a doctor might think about the medical world in a different way. And a doctor that becomes a computer scientist might actually bring concepts from that world over here and come up with something original, right? And I think the hope with AI was that it would do that, right?
Just easier, right?
Well, it just has so much more information to kind of copy and paste from.
Well, it's good at inferring. We're terrible. I feel like at least a lot of us are terrible at like taking two unrelated ideas and using them for this current idea. Like I think that takes a certain type of somebody that not everybody does. right?
Right. Like you'll be like, it's like, Uber for pencils.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
people will be like, well, that
yeah.
doesn't, okay, well, I've never thought about Uber for
I never
pencils
thought about it
before.
like that, right? That's like common phrase.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never
Yeah.
thought about it like that, right? And AI is really good at that. AI is really good at thinking about things that's like that,
Well, right.
right? You know?
I think it has just all this vast,
Yeah, yeah,
collection of human words, right? Especially when it comes to like the stuff we're dealing with like ChatGPT and with
yeah,
code, right? It's taking
yeah,
all this collective code and words and making patterns out of them. Um, and it's stuff that we would never do just because we don't have all of that disparate
yeah,
knowledge.
yeah,
I think though that like what I've seen a lot of AI tools optimized for is the effective solution, not the creative solution, right? So
yes,
if they say, hey, um, I'm trying to write some code that will take like an IPv6 message and, add this stuff before it sends it, right? Like, okay, it's going to say, well, you're dealing with IPv6. Let's like look at what the standards are for IPv6. It's not going to be like, well, what if instead of this, we think of IPv7, which,
yeah, yeah,
like, let's think about how we can make this totally new thing that doesn't exist yet,
yeah,
right? It's going to be like, well, you're dealing with this. You want to solve this problem. And I think it rightfully they decided to optimize around like solving the problems that we already have,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because that's what most people want to solve. And
Well, so
yeah,
here's how I use AI, and I think why it's like a little bit different is because like I'll use AI to collect that information, right? Let's say there's like you're working with frameworks and there's all these frameworks, they have all these methods, and let's say you want to do something with it. And I don't know, let's use some sort of example here. Like I want to upload a file to S3, right? And there's all these best practices. Now, let's say the file I'm uploading is like this really weird format that no one's ever tried to upload, or very little people have uploaded. Let's say it's a monstrous, like 10 terabyte file. And there's like a couple of really good ideas on how to chop that up and upload it into sections, right? And then there's this also really another different idea that AI finds about how you can like tar it in some way, shape, or form to make it smaller. And so it comes up with this idea that's kind of mashed together to use that, right? But then I come in and I go, those are really great ideas, but you're not thinking about what maybe we should try using it like this, right?
mhm.
And I tell AI, these are really two really great ideas, but you're thinking about how to use it wrong. Let's use my knowledge of how I've used ideas like this before, and let's try it this way. And that's where then AI can take it a step further and actually implement that like POC, I guess you would call it, or like an
Sure.
R&D, like a quick R&D cycle. Like, oh, that's a good, because AI will literally tell me like, oh, that's a good idea, as
Yeah.
if it hadn't thought about it. And I don't know if it's just being, nice or whatever. It's programmed to be that,
Right,
but like
right.
then it's able to run off and do that, right? And then it executes on that idea that I had, and it does it really well because it's a very small implemented idea. Now, here's the question: it gave me these two desperate things, right? And it probably found it on, Stack Overflow. Somebody did it that way or something, blah, 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 right? But then I added in my extra flavor or spice into that idea before it went off and did it. Is that an original idea? Or is that idea just a semi-plagiarized way? And how is that any different than me rewording somebody else's essay,
Yeah,
to
I mean,
make it my own?
with things like Stack Overflow, like that is, I think, before AI, I mean, Stack Overflow, it's so sad to see it sort of disappear, but just from like a nostalgic point of view, I feel like,
Yeah. Wait, is it
because
gone? I didn't even know it.
no,
Is it
I don't
actually?
want to say it's gone, but like,
I mean,
I think,
AI needs it to figure out our mistakes, right?
yeah, but like, okay, 10 years ago, right? Programming, what I would do is if I didn't know how to do something, right? I would go and look online and I'd say, hey, I want to make this very specific thing happen. And chances are somebody had done something similar on Stack Overflow and
Yeah,
they've
yeah,
written about it and a bunch of people responded, right? And so I'd read
yeah.
through that stuff. And
Exactly. Yeah.
now, and so like
AI
at the
does
end of the
that.
day, I'll go and I'll say, you know what? I'm going to go and take the things that I like out of this
Yeah.
and make my solution,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
With AI, you're often kind of going around that whole process. You're putting the same prompt in. Oftentimes, like hopefully you're doing a better prompt than you would, but you put the same kind of prompt into the
Yeah.
AI, and then it
Yeah.
says, "Oh, here's a solution," right?
Yeah.
Instead of giving you like 20 people arguing about the best way to do it, you just get kind of like a solution.
I force AI to give me sources. That's
No,
another thing I do. Like
so
I'll say, where did you find this? And I have it actually give me sources that I can look it up.
yeah, I think we all kind of figure out tricks tricks that work for us.
Tips
Like
and tricks. Yeah.
I, I find that like asking AI to give me like 5 answers to a solution
Yeah.
often gives a better final answer because
Mm-hmm.
it'll like actually, while thinking through those 5 solutions, it'll
Yeah.
then go and say, actually, I like a combination of like 1 and 3,
Yeah.
and we should go
Yeah.
with that, right? So sometimes there's
Yeah.
there's things like
Yeah.
that ends up working, but um, I don't find the process too dissimilar, except that like what we're doing now, a lot of people are doing is instead of looking through the whole comments
Yeah.
thread, they
Yeah.
basically look at the accepted answer and they take
Yeah.
that word for word,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Um, I enjoyed the sort of back and forth banter of like
Yeah.
developers being like, you shouldn't do it this way.
No,
This is the best way to do
I
it.
actually I love telling this story all the time. No, I feel like no one's ever gonna feel this ever again. I had this terrible issue. I like couldn't solve it. I went online to like search up like what is going on. It was some sort of like program, like a function I was trying to create in Golang. Golang has like some weird idioms sometimes. And
Mhm.
I found a Stack Overflow page and someone who actually answered and solved the issue. And I was like, oh, this solved my issue. This is amazing. Who wrote this? And it was me from 2 years ago.
Did that really?
That really happens.
That's hysterical. That's hysterical.
And
Yeah.
no one's ever gonna know that story ever again because, like you said, no one really. Well, I'm sure that people will still do it, but it's gonna slowly die off. It will,
Yeah. Yeah. I
but
mean, I do think that you can have, getting back kind of to the conversation, I think that there is a world where AI does make original thoughts, right?
mm.
Can it do that without human interaction? Right? Maybe it just has to be kind of designed differently. Right now, I think the
Well,
AI
you're
is.
dancing around my question a little bit, which is
Am
fine.
I?
You're
Am
okay
I?
doing that. My question is if someone uses generative AI to
Mm.
generate code, can that be an original idea? Or, and this is the argument. Not only is this
Yeah.
the argument, this is the argument that even court cases are looking at, right? And it technically, in the image generation space, the courts have ruled that you cannot copyright an image that's been generated by AI.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
They've set the precedence. They've very explicitly said that with current copyright laws, you cannot copyright an image. So layman's terms is it can't be it's not an original idea. It can't be copyrighted under current copyright law,
Yep.
right? Which
Yep.
means a copyright law is gonna change, and they're leaving the wiggle room there to allow that. But
Yeah.
like, and that is the philosophical debate that's going on in our tech career path right now, is can generative AI create original content, right? And or is it always just recopying? It's a fancy way to copy and paste someone else's code, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it depends on also the end game of what you want in the world, which is
Yeah.
like, do you want to, like, is human knowledge being advanced by the existence of AI,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or are our human advancements
Yeah.
the thing that really advances us, right?
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
we actually need a person as part of the process to
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of make the next steps?
Actually, there was something that was interesting that I did read, and it was something along the fact that you can't blame AI when something illegal happens. Right?
Hmm.
I forgot the what the wording was, but there somebody needs to be responsible. You can't
Yeah.
put AI in jail, right?
Well, right. And I think that's true with a lot of what people are creating, right?
Yeah.
Like when you have a coworker who goes and uses AI to generate some code, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And um hypothetical coworker, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And that code fails, right? You don't say, "Oh, come on, Claude.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, do
Claude
this."
wrote bad code.
Claude wrote bad code. It's
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I do think of these kind of as tools that
Yeah.
we are shepherding, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
if you shoot somebody with a gun,
Yeah, yeah.
like, you pulled the trigger, right? You're kind of responsible for that action, right? Um, and I do think there's some sort of wiggle room there for interpretations, right? But I do understand why they would make that distinction, right? That you can't have AI be responsible. And that's why I think there's still going to be somebody in most of these like companies
Well, so here's the
as a
thing that makes
human to take
you know
responsibility.
you know what I think about when we talk about things like this? I think about Waymo, right? And like I haven't done any research, so I don't know, but like if Waymo hurts somebody,
Mhm.
right? What if it accidentally it runs over someone's toe? Whose fault is it? Is it is
Yeah.
if there's a passenger in the back seat and that happens, is it the passenger in the back seat's fault?
No,
Or
no, no.
it's the company's fault, right?
It's definitely the company's fault, right?
Or is it the car's fault? We'll put the car in jail.
No, no, no. Although you can, if you, let's say you had something where like literally the stuff, all the technology shut off, right? No, you
Yeah.
would still be the company's fault, right?
Yeah,
They should
yeah.
have planned
Yeah.
for that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, so it's interesting. And so it just gets back to, I mean, if we're saying in the negative it's on the humans, then in the positives it should be an original idea,
well,
right?
I do
I
think,
don't know.
for instance, I've seen these videos on YouTube where people take like a bunch of scenes using these like AI generated videos, right? And they turn them into like a long story, right?
Yeah.
Now, a lot of
Yeah.
these editors, they don't allow you to make clips more than like 10 seconds long, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. These people have made, 15-minute videos taking
Yeah.
these scenes and stitching them together. And at the end of the day, it's not AI that made that final product. It is a human who took all these individual
Yeah.
things and mashed them into a final product.
Yeah.
Is there some copyright issues in there? I'm sure, right?
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I still think that that is somewhat human, right?
Yeah.
Even if there's definite slop in there.
Yeah.
Um,
This is
it's
kind of a side
yeah.
this is a side tangent but also kind of related. Are do you cruise like YouTube Shorts at all?
I
There's
try
like
not to.
oh, okay. I doom scroll sometimes on YouTube Shorts, and YouTube like obviously has an algorithm. So once you like look at one, it like feeds you a bunch of them, right? And
Mhm.
I got trapped down AI slop. YouTube is
Oh,
Shorts are filled with AI slop, man.
yes.
So many, but there is some good AI generated videos, and one of them I think it's called like Humans in the Second Loop. You
Uh-huh.
should look it up, man. I forgot who the creator is. I need to. I feel like I need to link it now that I'm talking about it for this episode. But uh, it's only like 30-second shorts, but it's like he created this whole new world of humans in the second loop, where it's like it's a second iteration of humans, where our entire civilization died off and there's a new civilization of humans, and they're all like half robot people who can like load their memories up with the loop from the first time humans and they're all like addicted to it as a drug. He like created this whole, based off of 30-second shorts, he created this whole like side history and story. And like, I honestly, I think it's amazing, but it's all AI generated. So,
well, to me, that like the stuff where people are making stories, that's kind of in my zone, like totally okay. Even if it's like, kind of taking other things that people have used in the past. Where I do draw the line is when people make those videos that are just kind of like, almost like made to just make money. I don't want to say it like that.
I hate them.
Right?
Yeah, it's like it narrates. It's where they're narrating something. It's like
there's
top
a narrator
10 things to scare you or something like that.
Yes, exactly.
Like,
where it's basically making clickbait.
Yeah,
and it's super
so
frustrating
because that's AI slop right there. That's pinnacle slop.
Yeah. I just think like if it's made with like real intention, right? Beyond the intention to just like kind of put another thing in the internet that could make them money. I guess I draw the line there, right?
Yeah.
That's the stuff that I don't want to see more of in the world. So,
all right. Well, we're at over 20 minutes on our random side tangent conversation we didn't even plan. But that's why this podcast's so good, right? We just we have so many things that we just rant about. We don't even plan anything. We just hop on and start recording.
There's so much out there, Jesse.
It might not be entertaining to our audience members, but at least it's entertaining to us. So
I'm having fun.
And that was our containerized conversation. I'm Jesse Caffarelli.
I'm Josh Warhurst. Have a great night.